When God calls you to ministry or to whatever purpose you have in life, He's calling you to leadership. And so leadership is about a calling. And life by its way has a way of clarifying our purpose and our vision in life. And so it is important, my friends, that when you are set to do something or when you have a burning in you to do something, you realize that God is calling you to something. Perhaps it's a clarity that you are hearing in your mind, in your spirit. God always calls us to leadership. And therefore, leadership is about the audacity to take action, the audacity to say, I'm going to make a decision to do this and I'm going to follow it through and I'm going to make sure it's done. It's about the ability to keep processes and people moving in a particular direction, showing people where to go. Leaders don't wait for conditions to be right. They chart the compass, they chart the pathway because their vision and their purpose is very clear. They might not know how, they might not know when, but they will always be looking for that situation and that time where God says it is time to stand up and take action. And therefore, my friends, as a leader, you must make sure you create an environment that fosters development of people and ensures that people can make accountable and responsible decisions about their lives and for their future. And so leaders look for situations to thrive. They look for situations because situations must not prepare them, but they are found ready. Situations must find you ready to take action, my friends, and make sure that whatever you do it so well. And therefore, it is not about an office you hold. Don't wait until you are appointed into an office to be a leader. Take charge of what God has clarified in your mind, in your heart. Do about it. And so, my friends, I want to share with you that it's not about power. It's not about power. We need power for boats, we need power for weightlifting, we need power for cars and other things. But in leadership, we need people with minds and with hearts, people that are caring, people with empathy, people who are willing to bring about change in the lives of people. And so when God in Mark chapter 1 verse 11 says, a voice is heard from heaven saying, you are my son, whom I love. And the voice says, in you I am well pleased. Friends, you might not know, when God calls us, it's because He loves us so much. And when He calls us, He's got a very clear task He wants us to do. And therefore, my friends, He is delighted to reveal that task to us and to help us to step into the position where He will lead us. And so leadership is about what you hear. It's about where you need to go. It's about when you need to go. And it's about how far you need to go. What am I talking about? I'm saying listen very carefully when God speaks. You might be hearing the voice and going to Eli like Samuel did and not know what to do with the voice. Fair and fine. But when you hear the voice, you must get clarity of what needs to be done. That's step number one of confirming your calling. Hear clearly. Get clarity of purpose and vision. Therefore, like Samuel, find time to go to Eli and say, is it you who's calling me? Some of you go to your pastors, some of you go to your elders, some of you go to your bosses, some of you go to your friends. But when God calls you, He makes His purpose and goal very clear to you and not to anybody else. Remember Gideon? He wanted God to clarify with his fleece blanket, put some dew on it, no dew. Let God clarify that purpose, because your calling, my friend, is your own accountability. It's between you and between God. It's never between you and your church, your company, your community, your family, or anybody else. God's calling is personal to you. So what is it that God is saying to you? And what do you know about what God is saying to you? And therefore you need clarity. You may need to consult. You may need to go to Eli. And Eli might tell you, Look, go back, and when you hear that voice, answer it yourself in this way. Speak, Lord, your servant is listening. God must clarify your purpose to you and to you alone. When the purpose is made clear and the calling is made clear, you must make a decision, because often the call of God finds us doing other things. For Gideon, he was on the meal. For Samuel, he was in Eli's house. For Moses, he was in the deserts of Media. Whenever God calls you, you must make a decision of moving from the place you are to the place where God wants you. Perhaps that movement might require you to move from your workplace to your home, or from one country to another country, from one nation to another nation. God's call involves a movement. Christ even had to move from heaven to be on earth to fulfill his calling. So callings always moves us, and that's why leadership is important. And always remember, there are never two Moseses, never two Abrahams, never two Isaacs, never two Jacobs, never two Josephs. Your calling is unique and specific to you, my friends. God wants to do something new. That is Isaiah chapter 43. He's doing something new. For Moses, it was to open the Red Sea, but for you, perhaps he wants the waters to be in the desert, to create a highway in the desert. And always look out for that clarity that says, Lord, what are you saying to me? Lord, what do I need to know about what you're saying? And Lord, where must I go? And therefore, you must decide what happens from the moment the call is clear. You must take the journey by faith. Listen to that, my friends. Leadership is about trusting God and being confident that he who called you is faithful to see you through. And therefore, as a leader, you must depend on God's power as your provision. It's never about your power, my friend. Keep your power to the boats. Keep your power to weightlifting. Keep your power to cars. When it comes to your calling, you are depending on the power of God. And so today I want to call you, my friend. I don't know what situation you are in, but God always uses all our situations to speak to us. Listen, you may not hear a voice. You may not hear him speak audibly, but there's always a conviction in you that tells you this is what God wants me to do. I'm calling you today. Would you consider the call of Christ in your life? Would you consider doing that which God has called you to do? And don't listen to what people are saying, because it's between you and God. He has been calling. He has been knocking. He is calling you to greatness. He is calling you to leadership. May you accept and embrace and harness the opportunities that he has given you. God bless you as you do so.